Tonight, contentious cross-examination of Stormy Daniels.
Here we sit after 2.5 weeks, and I think you'll see some very revealing things today.
Donald Trump's lawyers grill the adult film star to call her credibility into question.
What do you think of the Stormy Daniels testimony?
The CBS Evening News starts now. Good evening, I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for being with us. Tonight, jurors in the so-called hush money case against Donald Trump are weighing a dizzying day and a half of testimony from adult film star Stormy Daniels. She was called back to the witness stand today with the former president sitting just feet away from Daniels as his attorneys prodded her about sex, the porn industry, and more. They aimed to paint her as a money-hungry liar as they questioned her about the alleged 2006 tryst that resulted in the now infamous hush money payment. And Daniels forcefully pushed back, saying, quote, "If that story was untrue, I would have written it to be a lot better." Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up that payment. CBS's Robert Costa starts us off tonight with the salacious details from court.
Former President Donald Trump has always advised his lawyers to be aggressive. Today, his defense team targeted Stormy Daniels' credibility.
Here we sit after 2.5 weeks, and I think you'll see some very revealing things today.
Trump's attorney Susan Neckles led an often tense cross-examination of Daniels, who prosecutors say accepted a $130,000 payment from Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen before the 2016 election, in exchange for keeping quiet about her story. Neckles focused on Daniels' high-profile appearances after news of her alleged sexual encounter with Trump, which he denies made headlines, and argued Daniels tried to capitalize on her fame. Neckles, you wanted to make more money, right? Daniels, no, that's why I did 60 Minutes for free.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No. But I didn't say no. I'm not a victim.
Trump's attorney brought up Daniels' career of writing, directing, and acting in adult films. Neckles asked, "You have a lot of experience making phony stories about sex appear real." Daniels disputed that. The sex in the films is very much real, just like what happened to me in that room. Adding, if her encounter with Trump was untrue, I would have written it to be a lot better. Trump grimaced at the comment.
You feel like if you had wanted to go public, you could have gotten paid a lot of money to go public in an interview?
Without a doubt, I know for a fact.
Daniels repeatedly denied being motivated by money. And when Neckles noted she was selling merchandise related to Trump's indictments online, Daniels replied, not unlike Mr. Trump.
Did the defense's strategy potentially make Stormy Daniels look sympathetic to the jury?
Some jurors may have had sympathy for Stormy Daniels, and some jurors may have had contempt for her.
Late today, Trump's lawyers pushed the judge to modify the gag order so that he could comment on Daniels' testimony. But the judge denied that, saying it would remain in place because of Trump's record of attacking witnesses with, quote, vitriol. He also rejected another call for a mistrial.
And Robert, there is still another highly anticipated witness, Michael Cohen. What do we expect there?
All eyes on the longtime Trump fixer and Trump lawyer. He will be the key witness for the prosecution in the coming days, expected to take the stand. If you thought today was rough and tumble, just wait till Michael Cohen is in that chair.
Robert, thank you. Now to some breaking news. A Florida sheriff's office released body camera video this afternoon showing the fatal shooting of a U.S. Air Force airman last week inside his own apartment. CBS's Mark Strassman reports the family of the decorated service member is seeking answers, and a warning, some of these images you will see are disturbing.
Tonight, newly released body cam video shows an Okaloosa County deputy arriving at the home of Senior Airman Roger Forston's apartment door, responding to a 911 call about a domestic disturbance. The video is partially blurred. The deputy appears to step to the side and knocks. Seconds later, Forston opens the door holding a handgun at his side that was legally owned, according to his family. The deputy orders him to step back and then fires. Okaloosa County Sheriff Eric Aden says his department released the video to be transparent.
I want to assure you that we are not hiding, covering up, or taking action that would result in a rush to judgment of Mr. Forston or our deputy.
Fortune's mother, Mika, says her son was FaceTiming with his girlfriend during the shooting. A portion of that FaceTime video, which appears to be after the shooting, was released by the family's attorney.
Hey man, stay with us.
Law enforcement can be heard talking about Fortune's injuries. The subtitles were added by CBS News.
Yeah, he shot up. You got that 6 gunshot wounds.
They just said, oh yeah, he shot up. He shot up. My baby was shot up.
Fortune's family claims the deputy had no reason to go to his apartment. The sheriff says his deputy went to the apartment he was directed to. In other words, contradictory accounts. Lawyer Ben Crump represents the family.
Roger was the best of us. He was the best America had to offer. And they stole his life. The very people who were supposed to protect and serve him took him away from Mika and their family.
The investigator is now looking into this shooting. The deputy who pulled the trigger has been placed on administrative leave. Nora?
Mark Strassman, thank you. We've got some breaking news from Utah with the tragic day on the slopes in the mountains outside Salt Lake City. 3 skiers were buried in an avalanche and only 1 made it out alive. We get details from Kristen McPeak of our CBS Utah affiliate, KUTV.
A life flight helicopter flew one of the 3 skiers to safety this afternoon. He appeared to be walking with a slight limp as first responders led him to an ambulance.
He was able to dig himself out, and he was in pretty fair condition other than mentally.
The avalanche happened in an area recently covered in 3 feet of snow, about 30 miles south of Salt Lake City. The 2 other skiers were found dead after being trapped in steep, rugged terrain. Avalanches are common in this region. Experts say rapidly changing weather conditions are triggering them this late in the season.
Up in the mountains, it's full-on winter with dense, heavy snow, strong winds, and anytime the sun pops out or there's rapidly rising temperatures, that, of course, is instantly going to ramp up the avalanche danger.
We're told that this was a group of experienced backcountry skiers who had avalanche gear, and now, Nora, the recovery process begins for those skiers who lost their lives.
Kristen McPeak, thanks for your reporting. There's more dangerous weather in the forecast tonight after a string of brutal storms tore through the South last night, with at least 9 tornadoes touching down in 5 states. 3 people died in the storms and more are injured, including a 10-year-old boy who's in critical condition after he was swept into a storm drain in Tennessee. CBS's Dave Malkoff reports tonight from the hard-hit community of Columbia, Tennessee.
4 days of pounding tornadoes is taking a toll.
That is 100% a tornado.
With relentless heavy rain and wind pummeling the region, the latest round on Wednesday, at least 2 twisters touched down in Tennessee. An EF3 with winds in excess of 140 miles per hour caused catastrophic damage in Maury County. 1 person died and 100 homes were damaged or destroyed.
You can look around and see all the stuff that was pulled out of the house.
David White watched from a few blocks away as his family's house was hit, with his sister-in-law inside.
She was able to get down off of the 2nd floor before all of this came off of the front of the house. So she's lucky to be alive.
Oh my God.
The tornado passed near Spring Hill, destroying a barn at Spirit Horse Stables and flipping a car on Interstate 65. Along with the strong winds, heavy rain up to 9 inches north of Nashville, causing flash flooding. A 10-year-old child is now in critical condition after being swept into a drain pipe. Near the town of Hennigar, Alabama, calm after the storm.
That's what saved our lives.
Wanda White took cover inside her shelter. Her home survived a tornado 13 years ago. Now, there's nothing left.
We started hearing trees popping and blowing and awful sounds, and this is what we woke up to at 5 this morning, and this is what we saw.
Wow, it really feels like tornadoes are happening all at once this season. Just since April 25th, there have been more than 300 reports of tornadoes. And Nora, if you add all that up, that is nearly half of the tornado reports this year.
A lot of severe weather. Dave Malkoff, thank you very much. The Israel-Hamas war appears to be entering a dangerous new phase, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defiantly vowing that Israel will go it alone if necessary to finish off Hamas. Netanyahu today shrugging off the withholding of U.S. military weapons and repeated warnings not to invade the city of Rafah. CBS's Ramy Inocencio has the late developments from Tel Aviv.
With Israel's military pushing closer to the city of Rafah, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pushing back, angrily against President Biden. If we have to stand alone, we will stand alone, he said. His reply to Biden's blunt warning Wednesday to not launch a major strike.
It's just wrong.
The president said he wants to avoid mass casualties and paused a shipment of 3,500 bombs last week. But refusing to back down, Israel's military spokesman said they have the necessary ammunition for the Rafah operation. A far-right minister posted on social, "Hamas loves Biden," and another lawmaker said Biden not only jeopardizes Israel, but the entire free world. Rafah is believed to be Hamas's last bastion with 4 battalions, but for nearly 1.5 million people, 600,000 of them children, it's their last refuge from this war and still getting struck. Some in Israel want to keep advancing, says former Deputy National Security Advisor Chuck Freilich.
To what extent can Israel win this war without the U.S.?
I think Israel won the war by the middle of December. We had essentially destroyed Hamas as a coherent military force. At the same time, Israel may have lost. Its international standing is bad, and now we've seen this emerging divide with the United States. For Hamas, I think that's an incredible achievement.
And ceasefire talks in Cairo have ended for now. Both the Israeli and Hamas delegations left today, as well as CIA Director Bill Burns. Nora.
Ramy Inocencio, thank you. The trial against Hunter Biden on federal gun charges is on track to begin next month after a federal appeals court declined to dismiss those charges today. Hunter Biden is accused of falsifying a federal firearms form and illegal possession of a firearm while using a narcotic. The president's son also faces federal tax charges in California and is scheduled to stand trial later in June. He has pleaded not guilty in both cases. One of the biggest decisions we can make in life is if and when to start a family of our own. Thanks to modern science and new social norms, more women are choosing to have babies later in life and on their own. CBS's Nikki Batiste goes in depth on the growing trend of women becoming single moms by choice.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Up against her biological clock, Tracy Kodak faced a tough decision at 39.
Do you remember the moment you thought, I'm going to have a baby on my own?
I do. I was with my best friend, and I said, I don't have a partner. I need to be a mom.
She emptied her savings to cover fertility treatments, ultimately using sperm donated by a friend. After 3 years of trying, she had Zola, 7+ pounds of pure wonder.
And then it was, oh my gosh, I'm taking home a human. And she was perfect.
Kodak belongs to the organization Single Mothers by Choice. Its 30,000 members are part of a growing trend, women having babies alone because they're tired of waiting for the one, or they simply want to parent solo.
You could do this all day, couldn't you?
Like Emma Ramos, mother to 2-year-old Michael.
If you had to choose one word to describe life as a single mom by choice, what would it be?
Can it be 2 words? I would say just like beautiful chaos.
As a teenager, Ramos dreamed of having a child, not a partner. Modern attitudes have helped make that possible. Today, more than 3/4 of Americans find single parenting acceptable, although more support a 2-parent household.
That speaks to the misconception that we have somehow purposefully handicapped our children by, only bring them into the world with one parent.
You obviously make all the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a blessing and a curse?
Decision making, I would say, is a blessing, but then I suppose if I make the wrong decision, I'm the only one, to blame, I guess.
Just in time for this Mother's Day, Zola Kodak turned 11.
Having a single mom by choice can be hard,
like when you're first growing up, but then my mom just wanted me, nobody else.
Everything I do for her. This house is for her, my job, it's all for her.
Two single moms living with their choices and their children and loving both.
I love you.
I love you too.
Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
Mother's Day is this Sunday. A young man survives a terrifying shark attack. We'll have his story next. A 24-year-old Florida man is telling a harrowing story after he was attacked by sharks. Marlon Wakeman fell into the water while boarding a boat last month in the Bahamas. He says there were about 20 sharks in the water and was immediately attacked, suffering bites to his leg and shoulder before he got to safety.
I was in the water for another 2 seconds. There definitely was, another shark right there that probably would have grabbed me, and who knows what would have happened after that. I didn't really feel like sharpness at all or like my skin getting cut. It was more just like something, clenched me around my knee and just pulled me in. A lot of pressure, I would say. And then the one on my shoulder kind of just felt like a punch more than anything.
Wakeman says he's already thinking about getting back on the water, but says he'll be more careful next time not to slip on the docks. A Boeing jet skidded off the runway and caught fire today at an airport in Senegal. The plane was trying to lift off with 85 people on board. At least 10 people were hurt. Panicked passengers were heard screaming as they escaped from the plane. Many had to use emergency chutes. No word yet on what caused the terrifying mishap. There's some pageant controversy within the Miss USA organization. We've got the details next. Two pageant winners, Miss USA and Miss Teen USA, turned in their crowns this week. Miss USA, Noelia Voigt, announced her resignation on Monday, citing, quote, the importance of making decisions that feel best for your mental health. Just yesterday, Miss Teen USA posted word of her resignation, saying it came after months of grappling with this decision. And the social media director for Miss USA also resigned last weekend over what she called workplace toxicity. We reached out to Miss USA organization for comment, but we have not heard back. Tonight, the CBS News family is honoring the life and work of veteran reporter Rick Salinger. Salinger died of natural causes Wednesday at the age of 74. He started reporting at CBS News Colorado more than 30 years ago and covered some of the biggest stories, including the Columbine High School shootings, the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, and the Aurora Movie Theater massacre. Salinger's work earned numerous honors, including the prestigious George Foster Peabody Award. Rick Salinger will be greatly missed by all of us here at CBS News. Heart of America is next with a mom on a mission.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is brought to you by Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America. In the lead up to Mother's Day, one mom's mission for every child to be celebrated.
Carissa Carroll got the unexpected news from a nurse when her son Jack was born in 2013.
She said Down syndrome. She listed all the characteristics that he was showing and said, just enjoy your baby, and left the room. It would have been wonderful to hear congratulations on your baby.
So when Jack turned 1, she created Jack's Basket, which delivers supplies and information to parents newly coping with a Down syndrome diagnosis.
When you have a baby, you get new gifts, right? So we want that basket to also remind the family that this is your baby first.
So far, 9,000 baskets in 43 countries and all 50 states. She's also developed a curriculum to teach healthcare providers how to deliver the diagnosis to parents.
We want them to be equipped to start the story with congratulations instead of I'm sorry.
A mother motivated to make the Down syndrome journey easier for others.
I wouldn't change Jack if I could, but I will change the world because of him.
Well, for that, Jack and Carissa Carroll are tonight's Heart of America. And we are looking forward to this Sunday's Mother's Day. And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I'm Norah O'Donnell. Good night.